Hey y'all, I'm David with Progress Georgia, and thanks for tuning into our newest series, Freshman 15, where we get to know the freshmen legislators of the Georgia State House and Senate over a quick bite to eat. So I'm currently on my way to pick up Phil Olaleye, State Representative for District 59 in Atlanta. He was gracious enough to give us a few minutes of his time to ask him some questions over lunch.
Hey.
Hey, what's good, Representative Olaleye?
What's going on?
All
How
good?
are you, David?
Doing great. Good to see you.
Good seeing you as well.
So, where are we going to lunch today?
Let's do some Chick-fil-A.
Okay, Chick-fil-A. Sounds good.
Chicken sandwich, some fries.
Can't go wrong with that.
Let's do it.
So, Representative Phil, we had our research team do a little digging, and we found out that your first job was at Waffle House. What is your go-to Waffle House order?
Oh man, you can't go wrong with an all-star. Grits in a bowl with cheese. You gotta get your eggs scrambled with cheese. Gotta have some Jimmy Dean sausages.
Yes, sir.
And some raisin toast.
Raisin toast.
That's the go-to. Pecan waffle.
Ooh, and a pecan waffle.
You can't get a plain waffle.
I'm a chocolate chip guy.
Really?
Yeah.
That's IHOP. That's not Waffle House. That's pancakes.
That's true, but I like it with the waffles. I guess I'm different.
I gotta try. I'll try that next time.
Okay.
Get some chocolate.
I mean, it's a little simple, but it gets the job done.
You can't go wrong with chocolate chips and waffles.
Yeah, I hear that. So, what made you decide to run for office?
I would say it's twofold. My upbringing. I grew up in Stone Mountain. Parents, working class immigrants, and you just push up against barriers to opportunity and progress, and you realize that things should and must be better,
and can be better.
And so match that up with the work that I'm doing now, running an education nonprofit that closes opportunity gaps facing Atlanta youth, and just seeing all of those needs in the classrooms with the families that we work with and support. If you want to make a difference, you got to be willing to jump into the arena and be a part of the change.
Yes.
So, prayed about it, spoke with my boss at home, which is my wife, Sabrina, and she gave me the go ahead and said, if you don't do this, you'll regret it. So, best decision that I've made.
That's great. So you just completed your freshman legislative session. How does it feel now? Is there anything that there's a letdown? How are you adjusting?
I would say just grateful, honestly, to have the opportunity to serve, and you don't realize the weight of the responsibility until you're in the seat. And you understand that I'm literally one of 180 in the entire state, 10-11 million Georgians who have a say and have an opportunity to make decisions to improve the lives of my community and the folks that I care so much about. So just grateful for the opportunity. I would say you don't realize how fast you're moving. And so to finally transition back to real life and work and family was just a blessing to slow down a little bit and just be a lot more present with Sabrina and my son August.
As for your colleagues, your fellow legislators, who is the funniest state rep?
Inga Willis, Rep Willis, without a doubt.
Inga Willis again.
Her timing, she has incredible timing, and she is like swats Atlanta. So we always have a lot of, I grew up in Stone Mountain, East Side, so we have a lot of West Side, East Side banter going back and forth, but she's hilarious. A close second would be my seatmate, Teddy Reese. And we have a sibling relationship where we're just getting on one another every day. And so we have a good time and laugh a lot in the chamber.
That's good.
Yeah.
So, actually, we were talking earlier. Is this the street that divides both districts?
It's not. So Georgia Avenue actually splits my district, sits in between my district and Rep.
Gotcha.
Tanya
Georgia
Mills.
Avenue.
You know, jump across Georgia Ave, grab some barbecue in Rep. Miller's district, and jump across the street and grab some cup of coffee or beer at Halfway Crook. So
Nice.
there are a lot of great options along Georgia Ave, and I'm biased, but I get to share that street with one of our finest legislators. That's my girl, Tanya.
The homie.
Yeah, that's my homie, man. I'm wondering what okay, it's actually not too bad. Like, I'm used to pulling up because I get groceries at the Kroger, and it's just packed to the brim. I mean, you can't even. You have cars just sitting on this main street.
Yeah, when it
trying to
gets
get
backed
in.
up and it pours into the street.
Yeah.
Oof.
So it's actually good to see Chick-fil-A not crazy for once.
So you mentioned that you traveled for some time. You went to school in North Carolina, I believe.
Yep. Went to
And-
Duke for undergrad.
You spent some time abroad.
Yeah, I was just my choices were a bit like all over the place. So left Duke and was in New York for a couple of years, really just to pay off school loans. Just had a mountain of debt. You know, you're a working college student and you're having to make ends meet. And it was just my mom and my sister back home. But did that, and then traded in kind of my New York get up and my suits for some jorts and some flip flops, and was out in the Philippines as a Peace Corps volunteer.
Oh wow, that's great.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I mean, it was the last place that I ever thought I would be.
Mm-hmm.
My mother's Colombian, and I always had this dream of
Oh,
being able
my mother's
to.
Colombian too.
Really?
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. So yeah, in my mind, I'm gonna serve in Colombia, and my Spanish is gonna be on like 11,
Mm-hmm.
and it didn't pan out
Life
that way.
took you elsewhere.
And I'm so glad that I went to the Philippines and was supporting an indigenous squatting community. So it was full service, just from
Wow.
potable water to programs for youth, food insecurity, housing. I mean, we did it all.
It's
And,
amazing.
loved the family that I lived with and worked with, and my wife and I were able to visit the Philippines this past holidays.
Oh, and go back and see them?
Yeah, 10 years.
Wow.
10 years since I left. I was out there for 3 years.
3 years. That's,
Yeah.
It's really cool. So
So-
you really got immersed in that time.
Oh yeah, I mean, from the language to the food, and my office was a hut underneath an old bridge where the families live.
Yeah.
And so to be able to, walk with them underneath the bridge and show them my work site was special.
That's really cool. Oh, looks like it's time to order. Hi, David.
Can I get for you?
What are we having today?
I think I'm gonna get a deluxe with the pepper jack,
Regular or spicy?
regular
Meal?
yeah, with some fries and half lemonade, half sweet tea.
Half lemonade, half unsweet?
No, sweet tea.
Sweet?
Yep. Appreciate it.
Condiments?
Just ketchup is fine.
Alright.
So, after spending so much time outside of Georgia, what made you come back?
I love that type of work.
Mhm.
Just that intersection of social and private, and being able to advocate for communities and
Mhm.
populations in need. But the place matters,
Yeah.
and where you do that work, and for whom, that all matters. And so I said, I want to come back home. Like, I want to be able to step into a role that allows me to help address systems that everyday folks like myself and my family growing up, and a lot of my friends rely on, and find ways to just improve them and
Yeah.
strengthen them, and really just move the needle for families in need. So moved back home. I worked for the City of Atlanta's Workforce Development Agency. I was there for about two and a half years, and then I left and join next generation men and women. It was an opportunity for me to cut my teeth as a leader and sit in an executive seat and
It's great.
grow an organization really focused on youth and building community and support on behalf of Atlanta youth.
So, building off that, how does running a nonprofit differ from being a legislator, or how is it the same? Are there any similarities?
I would say the people you work with, the energy, it's hopeful, it's positive, and not that working in the legislature isn't. It's just you have more control to actually craft a vision and work towards it.
Yeah.
And so you get to see the impact on the faces of the students you serve, inside the houses of the families you're supporting. And so, but I would say that the similarity is you still have to, for me coming in, what are you trying to get done as a legislator? There's so many needs, right? So being able to prioritize and really listen and talk to the people you're working for, right? Like I really am employed by the residents and neighbors and folks in District 59. And so to get on the ground and really listen and keep my ears to the ground and just have a sense on like what are the issues and concerns that are keeping them up at night? Where are the opportunities to really bring some value or benefits to their tables? And so so that's a big difference. I'm having to work my political muscle a lot more than I am in the nonprofit space, where most people can get behind wanting to connect Atlanta youth to opportunities and mentorship in general. So, yeah. Actually, one of our supporters runs this Chick-fil-A.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's a fun fact. When you're not legislating or working with your nonprofit, what do you do in your free time?
I love sports. Like I played hoops growing up, and so being able to watching the finals right now, which has been crazy.
Who you rooting for?
You know what? I don't really have a dog in the fight. I just want to see. I just want to see
a good game.
A good game, a competitive series. I love what Miami was able to do, and just having just heart and determination to go against the odds and just win. So love sports, love the outdoors and traveling. Like we try to get out and we're walking or we're trying to find trails. Love to travel now that we can post-pandemic. Just get in the car, drive around, explore different places.
Hello.
Hey.
David? Perfect, thank you. You wouldn't mind?
Appreciate it.
Alrighty, perfect. All good. Double check the everything.
Thank you.
Yep, you got a fries, sandwiches. Perfect.
Appreciate it.
Have a good one. Alrighty, and let's just pull up and we'll grab a bite right over here.
So, my father's Nigerian, and so that whole other side of my family is back in Nigeria.
Have you gotten to see them?
I went once. So
nice.
I visited Colombia before when I got back from the Philippines and before going to grad school. And then during grad school, I went and I visited Nigeria. My brother was living out there at the time. My dad came out.
So you went and linked up with your brother, got to meet the family.
When you product of immigrants, you grow up hearing all these stories about I sold mangoes on the side of the street for books, and you have free school and infrastructure and roads and this, that, and the other. But it's cool. I mean, you get to actually see the place that like shaped like the man, the woman, and just the culture. And
definitely.
So much of yourself is wrapped up in this place that you've never seen or stepped foot in, and to finally do that was cool.
Yeah, my father's Cuban, so I got to visit Cuba as well, meet my family out there, see my roots, both sides. It's a beautiful experience.
We'll have to test out our theory on spicy versus original.
Oh yeah?
Let's see if we got it right.
Moment of truth.
About to get in here. Original.
Nice. So, being a Duke alumni, or being a Duke alum, and a sports aficionado,
Uh-oh, here we go.
who is your favorite Duke basketball player?
This is controversial.
Okay.
This is controversial. Kyrie.
Kyrie.
And he only played like 13, 14 games.
Mm-hmm.
Because he broke his foot his freshman year. But
Then went to the league, right?
he was such a wizard with the rock. Like
That's true.
to be as small as he is and to have such an oversized presence and impact on the floor, it was just crazy watching him play. Like the few games he did play.
Yeah, I'm from
So-
Jersey, so he's from Jersey too.
Yeah.
We love him over there.
Kyrie, and I would say it was fun just watching Zion just yam on everybody, and it felt like AAU basketball, just up and down dunks, and just the joy and freedom that they played with was cool. I was devastated when they lost to Michigan State. Like, you didn't even make it to the Final Four.
So when you're not legislating, how do you deal with stress?
You know what? I do a lot of the YouTube, it's kind of rabbit hole. If it's not like the sports, like commentary,
Yeah,
it's like weird history,
like video
So it's-
essays.
like the just learning about. It's weird. I don't even know how I just stumbled upon it, but just like civilizations and individuals and moments in time. And then like wildlife videos. So I do a lot, like just vegging out, just on the couch. My son's running around, or we have like a little Fisher Price hoop.
Oh
And
yeah.
So we can just be in the living room where, my wife hates that, or in a little side kind of common space, and we'll just
You and August balling up.
just hooping, man, just getting buckets.
That's what's up. So going back to what do you do in your free time? What's your guilty pleasure music?
Davy's trying to put me on the spot. He's trying to put me on the spot, man. You know what? I am not afraid to say that I love listening to like movie scores,
Okay, yeah.
like the Hans Zimmer.
Yes.
Like I can, when I'm really trying to lock in, or if I don't want to hear audio, I don't want to hear words. I just want to zone out and just hear something calming or like
Good background
inspirational.
score, good
Oh,
theme
man.
for whatever you're doing. Make it sound a little
Get
bit
you
epic.
little hype, you know,
Mhm.
get you a little crunk. But movie scores, guilty pleasure.
That's the first. That's cool.
Yeah.
I'll have to try that sometime.
It gets somewhat, weird when you're manning the playlist and Hans Zimmer comes on after like an Outkast track.
Yeah,
Folks are
that
like,
transition.
"What the hell?" I'm having to next.
What's something that you think might be controversial but isn't?
Anything having to do with like the right to choose what you do to your body, what type of treatment or care you provide your child with. To me, it's like it shouldn't be a non-starter. It's my body.
Yeah.
Like, how can an outsider or someone I don't know tell me what I can or can't do to myself, or what kind of care, how I can love and care for my child?
Yeah.
And so to see folks be so opposed to the rights of individuals to choose for themselves is crazy to me.
Yeah.
It's become so politicized, but it's it's where we stand today. Hopefully we can change that. But yeah, it's wild.
And what's something that isn't controversial but should be?
I mean, for me, it's like education and how we as a state fund education. It's crazy to think that we have disinvested in education for decades and then look up one day and point to just poor outcomes and point to just educational experiences that aren't great when we haven't invested the money and the resources to provide every single child in Georgia with a quality education and to pay and support educators who do yeoman's work every single day, provide the programming and wraparound services and dual enrollment opportunities and free and reduced lunch. I mean, the list goes on. And we're talking about our children, our future.
Yes.
And it's, to me, to work as hard as we work, and I don't mean we being the entire legislature. I mean we being my Democratic colleagues who work so hard. And my first bill was a bill to address how we fund students living in poverty and making sure that we finally revise our funding formula, the way that we pay school districts to account for that. And you can't even get a hearing. They don't even want to have a discussion about it. We're not talking about a vote. We're just talking about a conversation. So it's an area and an issue that it just blows my mind that there isn't enough will to do more.
Yeah, which should be a no-brainer.
I mean, it's our future. It's the next generation, and we pay for it one way or the other. And so, fundamentally, a state and a country as great as ours should be able to provide every single young person and child with a world-class education. You shouldn't have to pay college money to get a good education,
or take on a huge amount of debt just
or
to further your education.
do what I did. I mean, I had to travel, take 2 buses, 2 hours one way and it was public, but DeKalb County had magnet schools. And so I was able to, bus stop 5:35 in the morning, transfer 7 a.m. to my second bus. And I had to do that from 6th grade onward just to access a better educational opportunity.
Wow.
Which changed my life. And, I was of the 5-7% who got the chance.
Wow.
So it's we're wasting our most precious resource, our children, by not investing in education properly.
Yes.
So we got to do a better job. We just have to.
Do you have any mentors that you turn to?
Outside of my folks, outside of my dad and my mom, there's and it's not a political mentor, but Kwaku Forstall runs the NEE Casey Foundation, and he's been doing community work for such a long time. And so he's someone who I can go to. He has a lot of that OG just energy.
Yeah, the wise.
Yeah, and I mean, with Kwaku and a group of other black male executives, just come together regularly and talk about the work that we're all trying to lead. But we talk about, what it's like to be a father and juggling those two balls of
Yeah.
being an executive, but also being a husband and a father. And, he's just been has brought such a great perspective into my life to not be so hard on myself and to slow down and appreciate the things that really matter.
Yeah.
To really never take for granted the power of people and community. And your work is to get out there and to listen and to learn. And I think about not an active mentor right now, but even in the Philippines, my two bosses were a Filipino couple, a pastor and his wife. And he would always tell me, Phil, I don't have, fancy degrees, and I don't even think he made it past the 5th or 6th grade, but he would always say, you have this, and you have this. So before you rush to judgment or before you jump in and start the work, like that's the work.
Yes.
It's like really being with people and understanding their needs, but most importantly, building that trust and that credibility, because nothing of importance or worth that you want to get done for them can be done and carried forward without them.
Yes.
And so I'm just blessed to have had just great mentors in my life who have given the time and allowed me to step on their shoulders and just pull in helpful perspective that has been invaluable throughout the years.
So having completed your freshman session as a legislator, is there any advice that you'd give to people of color thinking about running for office?
Do it. Don't overthink it. We have, and I can't speak for anyone else, but you don't have the resources. You don't have, you might not think you have the network. And there's a cost. It's the cost is greater for someone with less than it is for someone with more, right? That's time away from your family, that's time away from your work. And when you don't have the wealth or the backing, you have to think twice and 3 times before you make that step. But you never want to regret or say what if. And you have so much greatness and strength to give, and so much incredible insight and heart and passion to offer to any elected body, be it at the local level or state level. So just do it. Ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Keep an open mind, but just do it. Don't overthink it or get in your head and start to project negativity or scenarios where it doesn't pan out the way that you want it. You have control over that. And there's so many people out there who are waiting to jump in that ring with you and push you forward.
Well, thanks again for joining me for lunch today, Rep. Phil. It was an absolute pleasure getting to know you and enjoying lunch together.
I appreciate it. I'm glad we got the spicy and original chicken situation.
Figured out. Yeah, that would have been the best.
But appreciate the time.
Oh yeah, anytime. Whenever you want lunch, let us know.
Appreciate it. Thanks, brother.
No doubt. So we just got back from lunch, and I had a great time with Rep. Phil Olaleye. It was fascinating learning about his time abroad and how that inspired him to come back and serve his community right here in Georgia. Thanks again for tuning in to Freshman 15 with Progress Georgia. See you guys next time.